First time I kissed her, I apologized. Not out loud, but in my head, where all my panic and self-doubt had lived rent-free for years. Kissed her soft and awkward, like I was afraid of breaking something precious and irreplaceable. She laughed against my mouth, said, "Finally," and pulled me closer with a kind of certainty that made the ground feel steadier beneath my feet. No fireworks. No background music swelling. Just her, warm and real, laughing at how bad I was at hiding how badly I wanted this, how badly I wanted her. Cassie was different from the start. The night she asked for help with the car, I'd barely even touched an engine in my life, unless you counted the time I changed my own windshield wipers and called it a mechanical triumph. I'm pretty sure she knew that, could see right through the shaky confidence I wore like an oversized jacket. But I still stood there in the parking lot at 9 p.m., flashlight clamped between my teeth, sleeves rolled up like some off-brand handyman, half a YouTube mechanic degree under my belt. She leaned against the car, teasing me, her arms folded, that smirk that said she already knew she could get me to do anything, anytime, anywhere. I should have realized then. But I didn't. Because part of me was still stuck in old programming. The part that saw every girl through a kaleidoscope of overthinking. Was this flirting? Was it just friendliness? Was it a trap? Should I be cool? Should I be funny? Should I be aloof but also attentive? Should I hold back or lean in? Turns out, none of that mattered. Cassie wasn't playing chess. She was just being Cassie, messy, honest, unpredictable. But patterns don't break overnight. I still tripped over myself mentally, reading too much into a smile, panicking over how long to wait before texting back, trying to decode the mysteries of modern affection like they were encrypted files on a hard drive I didn't have the password for. And Cassie, whether she meant to or not, leaned into the chaos. HCB, affection fluctuation, in full force. One day, texting me non-stop like a golden retriever on espresso. The next, "Sorry, been busy," with a 24-hour blackout that left me staring at my phone like a confused NPC. JWC, jealous concern rap, was another favorite move. She'd half joke about all the girls at my soccer league, even though I'd mostly made friends with a bunch of dudes who could barely kick straight and spend more time falling over each other than scoring goals. It always came with a laugh, light-hearted, casual. But under it, a thread pulled tight, invisible but tugging all the same. Still, none of it felt malicious. Just messy. Human. Real in a way that scared me and thrilled me all at once. First real fight came about 3 months in. Stupid stuff. I joked about how she's always late when we were getting ready for a group hang. Thought I was being funny. Thought it was safe. She went quiet. Like someone hit pause. Quiet. You could almost hear the record scratch. At the bar, she was a different person. Cool, detached, like she'd thrown up a glass wall between us. Laughing harder at other people's jokes. PvP, public/private dissonance, cranked up so loud, it was deafening. Friends noticed. One even asked me if we were good, eyebrows raised in that way that said, "You're about to step on a landmine, dude." I spent that night tracing back every moment, every comment, trying to figure out where it had gone wrong. Sentences replayed in my head like bad movie dialogue. Her silence in the car on the way back was louder than any argument we could have had, vibrating in my chest like a silent alarm. Drove her home afterward, awkward silence thick between us, the kind that fills up all the empty space and makes breathing feel like a chore. At her door, she turned, arms crossed, eyes shuttered. "You think I'm unreliable," she said. It wasn't a question. It was a verdict. I stumbled through an explanation. No, it was just a joke. I didn't mean it. I thought we could tease each other because teasing was our language, wasn't it? She softened eventually. Hugged me. Said it was fine. But it wasn't. Tiny hairline cracks started forming in the walls we built together, cracks I pretended not to see because acknowledging them felt too dangerous, too final. After that, she started canceling plans more often. Not dramatically. Not cruelly. Just a slow pulling away, like a boat loosening its ropes from a dock, drifting inch by inch until you look up and realize it's too far to swim after. More small fights followed. Miscommunications. Unspoken expectations. Moments where her validation would swing between flooding and drought, and I found myself constantly parched, waiting for the rain that might never come. One night, after another cancelled dinner, an excuse about work, about being tired, about next time, I promise. I sat alone at a restaurant table, picking at cold pasta, wondering what the hell I was doing, wondering why it still hurt even when I knew better. And yet, I didn't want to walk away. Because somehow, even when we stumbled, it felt better than pretending to be someone else for a girl who never actually saw me. Cassie saw me. Messy. Anxious. Overthinking everything. And for a long time, she stayed. We hit 6 months, and I started to feel the drift. The texts got shorter. The plans got flimsier. She'd say things like, "I just need a little space," which I understood, intellectually. Emotionally? I spiraled. Started feeling like I was auditioning again, except this time the script was blank and no one was telling me what role they wanted me to play. One night, we met up for dinner after a week of barely talking. She was beautiful in that casual, brutal way: jeans, messy bun, hoodie 3 sizes too big. She picked at her food. Smiled a lot, but not the way she used to. Halfway through, she said it. "I feel like you're waiting for something." I asked her what she meant. She shook her head. "I don't know. Like you're always bracing for me to leave." She wasn't wrong. Because part of me knew she already had a little. The conversation drifted to safer waters. Weekend plans. Movies. Soccer games. But underneath it, the current pulled strong, dragging us both somewhere either of us wanted to name. 3 weeks later, it snapped. She called late. Her voice was small, tentative. "Can we talk?" We met at the park. Same place we'd gone walking after our first official date. Cool night. Empty paths. Yellow streetlights buzzing overhead like lazy fireflies. She didn't waste time. "I don't think this is working," she said. I nodded. No big speech. No dramatic protest. No begging. Because I knew. We sat there for a while, not touching. Just two people watching something quiet die between them. Before she left, she said, "You're a really good guy." Maybe she meant it. Maybe she needed to. Doesn't matter. I went home. Lay on the couch. Stared at the ceiling until the lines blurred together, until the ache in my chest dulled into something manageable. Grief came, but different this time. Not a tidal wave. Not a sucker punch. Just an ache. Deep and low and steady. I didn't spiral. I didn't start crafting desperate texts or analyzing every conversation for missed signals. I just let it hurt. And somehow, that felt like progress. Cassie was a chapter, not a cautionary tale. She didn't break me. She cracked me open, sure. Made me feel things sharper, love harder, trust messier. But she didn't break me. Weeks passed. The numbness faded. Friends pulled me out of the house. Soccer games. Late-night gaming. Road trips. Long drives with the windows down, singing badly to old playlists. Moments of pure, stupid joy that made the world feel bright again. One afternoon, sitting on a shitty folding chair at a friend's barbecue, drinking a warm beer, I realized something. I wasn't waiting anymore. Not for Cassie. Not for closure. Not for someone new to fix me. Just living. Flawed. Healing. Fully, stupidly alive. I started drawing again. Dumb sketches at first, mostly cartoons of my friends falling over at soccer games. But it felt good. Like remembering a language I used to speak fluently. I went on a hiking trip by myself. Got lost for a few hours. Panicked a little. Then sat on a rock and laughed until I cried. Because for the first time in a long time, the mistakes were mine. The choices were mine. The victories, small and scrappy, were mine too. Maybe someday, someone will show up again. Maybe they won't. But either way, I'll be standing. laughing too loud, telling dumb stories, cheering on my terrible soccer team, living a life that's messy, beautiful, heartbreakingly human. Me. Not an act. Not an audition. Not a Dead Sea Scroll waiting to be decoded. Just me. And honestly, that's the happiest ending I could ever ask for. Maybe someday, someone will show up again. Maybe they won't. But either way, I'll be standing, laughing too loud, telling dumb stories, cheering on my terrible soccer team, living a life that's messy, beautiful, heartbreakingly human. Me. Not an act. Not an audition. Not a Dead Sea Scroll waiting to be decoded. Just me. And honestly, that's the happiest ending I could ever ask for. A year later it happened. I wasn't looking. Wasn't scheming or hoping. I was at a local art festival downtown, sipping terrible iced coffee from a paper cup, browsing a row of handmade jewelry stalls. The sun was brutal, the music too loud, but it didn't matter. I was just there. Alive. Existing. That's when I saw her. She was at a pottery booth, holding up a crooked mug like it was a priceless treasure, laughing with the vendor about how it was perfect in its imperfection. Something about her, the way she didn't perform, the way she seemed completely unbothered by how she looked, how she sounded, how she might be perceived, hit me square in the chest. I almost didn't say anything. Almost kept walking, convincing myself it was nothing, a random blip of attraction, a funny story I'd tell my friends later. But something in me had shifted over the past year. I wasn't the same guy waiting for the perfect cue. Wasn't the guy who needed a checklist to start a conversation. I just walked up, heart hammering stupidly hard. "That mug looks like it survived a war," I said. She laughed. Loud and unfiltered. Not graceful, not coy. Just real. "Exactly," she said, grinning. "It's got character." We talked for 20 minutes at that booth. About bad pottery, about the worst movies we'd ever seen, about how iced coffee always tastes better when you're outside and a little miserable. Her name was June. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I didn't overthink anything. Didn't second-guess every word out of my mouth. Didn't analyze the rise and fall of her laugh like some secret code. I was just me. Messy. Nervous. A little too sarcastic. And she liked it. We exchanged numbers. No games. No. Wait 3 days. Rule. That night, we texted until 2 a.m. Dumb stuff. Favorite comfort foods. Bad karaoke songs. The last time we cried at a movie. I fell asleep smiling so hard my cheeks hurt. Weeks turned into months. Slow and steady. Dates that felt less like interviews and more like catching up with someone I'd known in another life. Long walks. Cheap pizza. Lazy Sunday afternoons where either of us felt like being anywhere else. I didn't lose myself this time. Didn't try to mold myself into a version I thought she'd want. And somehow, that made all the difference. Because love, real love, isn't about fitting into someone's expectations. It's about showing up, messy and unsure and human, and having someone say, "Yeah, that's exactly what I want." And this time? This time, I gotta say it back.